Nowadays, the most important aspect of a song is the beat rather than the lyrics. By having these artists be connected with the top producers of this generation, it will ultimately lead them into new levels within their careers. This causes producers to be the mastermind behind a track. After all, rappers rely on how good a beat is before rapping on it, overall causing a strong relationship between a rapper and a producer. Distressfully, this relationship doesn't always last. At times, there are roadblocks or altercations that end up ruining the bond for the artist and the producer. These conflicts are usually caused by disputes over money, different sense of direction for one's career, or simply wanting new producers, which only leads into artists losing the person that significantly aided in their craft. So today, we are going to look at 3 rappers that had bad relationships with their producers. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Playboi Carti is currently running the charts with his last 2 features entering top 10 on Billboard. As we could see throughout his discography, his last 2 albums being Whole Lotta Red and Dilate both had notable producers to come from it, overall having him develop a strong relationship with them. Nevertheless, how was his relationship with one of his early producers, MilanMakesBeats? Milan is known for creating the beat for his popular track Velo and Thug, as well as unreleased tracks like Pit Stop and Counting Caskets. In fact, Milan would produce most of Carti's self-titled project before he ultimately scrapped it for Pierre Bourne's production. According to Milan, he'd say that the main reason this happened was because Carti's songs kept getting leaked, as well as his team simply not wanting to pay for his beats. Milan would also go on to explain that he got in contact with Carti through his friends Uno and Fani. This is how the single Velo and Thugs was developed, since he sent a snippet of that beat to Uno, to which Carti would hop on it and take that beat snippet, loop it to extend the beat, then rap over it just so he didn't have to pay for it. To make matters worse, when him and Uno performed the track, they never provided Milan with any performance royalties.
Whenever they're having a Velo pop up and they're selling that merchandise, because my song helped with your brand, it's like your brand song, I could be entitled to some of those sales. So if you sold shirts and you performed, I could be entitled to all of the money that I lost out on that you didn't pay me.
Once Milan actually locked in with him, Carti continued to execute the same shady tactic just so he didn't have to purchase any beats from Milan. To hopefully prevent this from happening, Milan would put the tag
"Purchase your tracks today"
within the snippet of his beats. However, this wouldn't stop Carti from still looping and rapping over these instrumentals. The problem would increase when Playboi Carti's A&R named Dash would hit Milan so they could send over documents regarding Carti's self-titled tape. Despite this, he never received any documents referring to the usage of his beats. Then Milan immediately noticed that Playboi Carti's team wanted him to send the full beats before sending back any documents or payments for his production, thus causing Milan to be put in a very shady situation since he wouldn't be receiving any endorsements for his beats. After all, Milan was an up-and-coming producer chasing his dreams whilst in college. Playboi Carti being scummy to just take his beats would only prevent him from reaching new heights within his career, which is why Milan would post screenshots of him texting Carti saying, "You rapped over purchase your tracks today, lol. So what'd I do to you?" Carti then replied with, "Can't wait to see you, bitch." Milan then continued, "Bro, you stole from me, and I wanted credit and royalties, and to work. You tripping. Stop hitting me up." Carti ended the conversation by saying, "I'ma find you, little bitch. Fuck everybody who love you. You a peon." Following the text messages, Playboi Carti would DM Milan's close friends to find out where he lived so he could pull up on him and press him, possibly creating an altercation between the two. The messages would start off by Carti asking, "Yo bruh, is Milan in North or South Carolina?" The friend then said, "I don't know. Why? I don't know about that dude." Carti then said, "I'll pay you. Find out where he at. Call me." The friend continued by saying, "Bro, that's hella sus. I ain't gonna tell you his info." Carti then stated, "Fuck you. I'ma find you." The friend then replied, "Like hell you will, bitch. I ain't afraid to whoop your bitch ass and take that fake ass tech deck chain." Carti threatened Milan's friend by elaborating, "You a bitch. I'ma you. And Milan and bands. That's on Gweed, bitch. You a stain. You lame as hell, bruh." Although it seemed like Milan's friend was having his back, Milan would reveal that the person Playboi Carti texted wasn't his friend at all, and instead would bug Milan for information about him. This is so he could pass it on to Carti in hopes they could form a relationship and gain clout off of Carti's name. Which just shows that even when Playboi Carti was diminishing Milan's career, he still had people aiding him. Heading back to the messages, it was fairly evident that Carti was extremely heated since he went too far by saying he would Milan and bands. This is because after Milan acquired the song Butterfly Coupe by Playboi Carti's engineer, he would retaliate against Carti by leaking it as well as adding a young band's feature, who he was beefing with at the time. Obviously, Playboi Carti would get tight at Milan since a track of his got leaked and was given an unwanted feature, causing him to DM Milan. Milan then posted the text messages between him and Carti that stated, "You a bitch. I can't wait to catch y'all slipping. Don't drop shit with me on your shit. On everything, I'll fight you. I will have bros at your house today, try me. I'm in the UK. I'm bored. I will gladly set your ass up. Fuck you and Young Bands, pussy. Dude, you've been stealing my beats and stealing my sound. I haven't done shit to your ass, but make beats you stole. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. It's a damn song. What the fuck have I done to you? You stole beats and running with a sound." Milan would clarify in a video that this is where it seemed as if Carti let the clout get to his head, since he thought he would receive these beats for free. Now, knowing he can't do that, a young Playboi Carti then gets other producers to recreate Milan's sound.
Carti thought that his clout was going to be enough for me to just be like, here goes beats, here goes beats, here goes beats. And that wasn't it. So what he ends up doing is get other producers to basically recreate my sound and put that out there and re-record these songs.
Milan would also go on to claim how Carti sneak dissed him on the track Flex off his self-titled mixtape.
Another song, he drops a bar talking about, yeah, I'm taking your shit, you college kid. I mean, at the time I was in college, and I'm the one sending the beats, and he was taking my stuff, and I was exposing him before it.
Following this, in April 2017, Milan took to Twitter to post a picture of Carti blocking him, alongside the caption saying how all he asked was for fair compensation and credit. Playboi Carti then doubled down on the situation when screenshots of him clarifying how he doesn't do anything shady came out. As the following reads, "I rap on Pierre beats. So the old producer's sick. I promise. I don't do janky business. They're trying to get clout." He then continued, "Bruh, blood mad because I stopped rapping on his beats. I don't owe him shit. I don't steal beats. Bro, it's crazy because I can't even defend myself because these dudes ain't worth it. If I stole a beat, I'll tell that pussy dude. Pierre born rich as fuck. That's all I need." I'd like to mention that Carti mentioning Pierre here is also fairly ironic because he would do him dirty later down the line, but that's a story for another day. Carti then went on to clarify how he doesn't owe Milan anything and that he doesn't steal beats. This was fairly strange since Playboi Carti went on to delete the song Vlone Thugs, which had Milan's production on it, ultimately depicting how Carti probably did steal Milan's beat and was just trying to hide the proof that he did by deleting it. Now, as many of you might be thinking, why couldn't Milan plainly sue Carti for robbing his beats? Unfortunately, Milan couldn't afford a lawyer to sue Carti over his antics, especially since he was only a college student at the time, so he had to utilize his money for other important things like paying for classes, bills, and everyday expenses. Adding to the fact that he was an underground producer, he definitely couldn't pay for all these tolls. At this point, it's pretty clear that Carti had bad intentions when it came to Milan by stealing his beats and money, which limited his chances of reaching a mainstream level. With all that being said, I decided to actually hit up Milan to see if he would provide any more information regarding the whole situation. He'd begin by telling me that Carti did in fact work with Pierre more after leaving him. On top of this, Carti would go on to DM him saying that he has Pierre now. Milan then went on to say how Carti removing him off of self-titled truly halted his career. However, even if that version of the project was released, it would have been extremely poor quality since Carti was stealing his beats. So regardless, that tape had to be re-recorded to maintain Carti's hype. When I asked Milan would Carti's team ever work with him again if he made a new sound, he simply stated that if it's profitable to them, he doesn't see why not, which truly shows where Carti and his team heads are at. Finally, Milan wanted to inform producers on how to avoid something like this by saying, work with artists that are on the same page as you, and understand it's still a business working together when it reaches a certain level. Protect your craft and educate yourself on how to avoid pitfalls in this industry. To best wrap up Playboi Carti's story with Milan, this is simply how it is being in the underground scene. There are multiple occasions where you get scammed or treated poorly as a producer within the underground, which is completely unfair, but since a lot of these artists don't have enough money whilst in the underground, they have to do shady tactics in order to build out their careers. Overall, resulting in the artist having more power than the producer due to them needing the beat and can easily just take it from you, which can be seen throughout this whole situation. The year is 2015, and a young Don Pashal, better known as DP Beats, has recently ran into Philadelphia superstar Lil Uzi Vert. Although they met multiple times before, this was the moment where they clicked up. For starters, Uzi would ask DP why he hasn't sent them any beats. DP would respond with, I've been sending him to DJ Drama, who recently signed Lil Uzi Vert. Uzi would tell DP that DJ Drama hasn't given them anything and provided DP with their number, thus leading into the two creating their first big hit called 7 AM, which was on Uzi's Love Is Rage mixtape. This track hit insane numbers with it being one of the highlights on the tape. They then went on to create more hits like Finessing Hearts, I Can Drive, and Ready Set Go. Sadly, the relationship wouldn't last long because Uzi and DP's last official song together would be released in February 2017 on Love Is Rage 1.5. However, why was YSL their last official collaboration? So I did some digging to uncover that exact question. To paint the picture around the situation, it began sometime in 2019, and Uzi has been facing label issues which has caused major delays to their next studio project, Eternal Take. This would be due to their horrible contract that didn't let them drop and not earn money from their music, which ultimately led them to retiring from music. Despite dealing with all these problems, on DP's side of the story, to him, he felt as if Uzi began to sidelight him, since they haven't been asking for any more of his beats. This caused him to ask Uzi to drop multiple times. Nonetheless, you can only beg someone so many times, which is why eventually DP started to believe Uzi was being fake towards him. Due to him thinking this, he would unfollow Uzi on Instagram. Following this, a fan would comment underneath one of his Insta posts saying, "You're getting mad at Uzi for not answering you and not dropping. You ever think he ain't answering because all you're doing is asking him to drop music? Clearly, he's off of that right now. You as a day one gotta ask how he's doing. Help him out instead of asking him to do what he ain't trying to do right now. Support him, fam." DP then responded by saying, "Fuck you and him, dick sucker." He turned on all his day ones. Ask DJ Diamond Cuts. The mentioning of DJ Diamond Cuts is significant since they were the one that helped Uzi first boost their career. Their relationship didn't last long either since Uzi seemed to forget about her after being signed to Atlantic. This further displayed that Uzi is capable of leaving the people who aided them to the top. Having known this knowledge, DP would slowly start to drift away from Uzi, but still wanted to keep ties with the rapper. After all, the producer has good chemistry with them, so why would he completely depart from Lil Uzi? Around the same time, DP would also start attacking Uzi's label, by him posting on his story claiming that Atlantic has been stream farming which boosts their numbers. The main reason behind the post was to show Uzi could still drop their songs on SoundCloud. Even though they were having label issues, you could still provide your fans with new music. This was especially seen by DP showing how good the songs were doing off of Love Is Rage 1.5 before Uzi got signed. A month later, DJ Drama announced that Lil Uzi Vert is allowed to drop their sophomore studio album, Eternal Take, anytime they want. Although this is a bit of speculation, it seemed that DP saw this and wasn't entirely convinced that Atlantic was preventing them from dropping, thus adding more fuel to the fire. This eventually led to a fan texting him if he truly has beef with Uzi in June 2018. In the messages, DP stated, "We don't. He just a hoe, and he gotta box me when he see me. Uzi and I just gotta get the brotherly boxing match out the way. Then we back to normal. Like when YG and Mustard had a box. Then they went back to normal, that's all." Now, with these messages, it's fairly evident DP wanted to settle his beef with Uzi to maintain his relationship with them. To further show this ideology, in now deleted screenshots with the same fan, DP revealed that Uzi's label, Atlantic, supposedly took 80% of Uzi's money at any time from their songs. At this point, it seems as if DP's beef with Uzi slowly started to turn into beef with their label. Unfortunately, this didn't stop DP Beats to tweet at Uzi telling them to shut their sweet ass up and drop their album for their fans. He'd then go on to explain how he planned to spray his Nerf blaster at one of their shows in Fayetteville, North Carolina. However, the show would get cancelled due to Uzi's camp finding out about DP's threat to ruin their concert. Now, I'd like to note that some fans that wanted Uzi to work with DP again started to turn on him, with one Reddit user explaining, "DP a clown. Why the fuck you blasting Nerf darts at a show, you goofy?" From here, the beef escalated in March 2020 when Uzi finally dropped their sophomore studio album, Eternal Take. The intro track to the tape, Baby Pluto, originally had DP's production on it. This can be seen when looking at the original version of the song, which was named Fast As You Can. On this track, you can hear the same melody as you can on Baby Pluto, but with a different drum pattern that was developed by DP Beats. This revealed that Uzi replaced DP Beats with working on Diane producers Brandon Finessin and Bugs Ronan. Following this, DMs with DP would get leaked depicting how another producer, named Ike Beats, ruined his chances of him being on Eternal Take. This is because he was scared of Uzi not using the beat due to DP's credits on it. Some of the following messages reads, "Brandon wasn't aware, neither was Bugs, that I did the first one. Ike didn't mention me because he was scared to lose the placement and thought Uzi was going to dub it when he heard my name. I never put my tag on it because I made the beat on my computer in front of Klee and bounced the session out to her computer. And they took my shit. It's okay though, I'm back. Now he looks stupid. He could have kept it real and fixed it. Earlier, he could fix it. I could have been on the album. And it's hurtful to me to be betrayed by someone I trusted with my art and with my ideas. And they did some shady business and had me looking crazy to Uzi, suing them over a song that Ike finessed my name out of. Shit had me looking brazy. Fans thought I was bitter and reaching. Started a beef with working on Diane, Atlantic, and Uzi. Like what the fuck, bro? That shit would have fucked any other producer up, like Blackball. Although DP attempted to sue them over this track, he'd let it go to show Ike a warning. What's completely messed up about the whole situation is that Uzi's label would treat DP differently from now on. If Uzi truly still cared for DP, they'd retaliate against their label like they did in the past. Instead, they decided to remain cool, still not be fond of the guy since DP has been annoying them by claiming how Uzi sidelined his production. But to be completely honest with y'all, can you really blame Uzi? After all, this is someone who couldn't put himself in the artist's shoes and therefore ruin a completely fine relationship since he couldn't get any more Uzi placements. Due to this, over the course of the next few months, DP Beats would perform multiple antics hating on Uzi. By DP telling Uzi to send an address so he could pull up on them, liking a comment that claimed Lil Uzi fell off, and signing to Rich the Kid's record label, Rich Forever, whom Uzi was beefing with earlier in their career. So signing to Rich the Kid's label was the ultimate betrayal. Luckily, in November 2020, Lil Uzi Vert and DP Beats seemingly rekindled their relationship since Uzi previewed multiple snippets on their Instagram live containing DP's production. From here, things began to look good between the two as Uzi began developing their next studio album, Pink Tape, where DP Beats would be seen working with Uzi. In fact, a fan messaged DP asking if the fans are going to receive a track that night. They'd also go on to ask if they're going to get Grail snippets for the songs like Swap That and CD My Wrist. Although the relationship was starting to become healthy, a year later in 2022, DP would comment under Kick streamer Aiden Ross asking him to tell Uzi to put him on Pink Tape. This was extremely odd since just a year prior, he was seen working with the rapper. So what exactly happened behind the scenes, we don't really know. However, what we do know is that DP and Uzi's relationship seems stable at this point, but Uzi continued not working with him. This can be seen when fans began asking him if he has unreleased Uzi songs whilst on Instagram Live, to which he began crashing out.
Swear to God, one of y'all niggas say something else about Uzi, bro, I'm ending my fucking live, bro. Stop asking me about this nigga, bro. I don't got no fucking music. If I had the fucking music, it'd be fucking out.
Now, the year is 2024, and DP still has yet to produce and release another official Uzi track. Even though him and Uzi were working together during the development of Pink Tape, there were no producer credits on any of the songs on that project, meaning that none of the production was made by DP Beats. More recently, DP has dropped 3 Uzi songs since they were leaked on his DP vs. the World 5 project. Fans did speculate if these songs would get an official release, since before with tracks like Bankroll leaked, they were met with an official release on streaming platforms. With that being said, the main question still arises, and that is, why has Uzi seemingly left DP in the dust? Well, it looks like Uzi got tight at DP for not understanding where they were coming from when they were having issues with their label. After all, if you want the artist to reach insane heights, you should hear them out when they're having problems with their label. Alongside this, it also appeared that Uzi simply wanted a new set of producers. As many of you might have noticed, they started to work with producers from the collective working on Dying for Eternal Take. This isn't completely a bad thing though, since many artists want to experiment with newer sounds and producers. This is something that can easily be seen with his peer and longtime friend, Playboi Carti. When he started to work with the producer Filthy for his project titled Whole Lotta Red, rather than Pierre Bourne, who he worked with frequently in the past. Lil Uzi Vert only wanted to evolve as an artist, so it was time to let go of older production. Nonetheless, it was wrong of Uzi to lead on DP back when he was working on Pink Tape. It wouldn't make it any better since to our knowledge, there aren't any new unreleased tracks with the two. To simply close off this story, Uzi is now focusing on dropping their last project, Love is Rage 3. They haven't been on the internet much and are in full album mode to give the fans their best before entering retirement. As we may know, Lil Uzi and DP Beats are cool up to this point, but still haven't worked together since 2017. So if there's any time Uzi could set aside their differences and work with DP Beats once again, it's now. Atlanta, Georgia is home to many well-known producers like Southside, TM88, Sunny Digital, Little 88, and most notably, Metro Boomin. When Metro was 22 years old, he'd already made a name for himself by working with hit artists like Lil Uzi Vert, Young Thug, Travis Scott, and his longtime friend, Future. In fact, up to this point within their careers, Metro and Future would have multiple hit songs together like Thought It Was a Drought, I Won, and Where You At featuring Drake, which peaked at the number 28 spot on Billboard, marking Future's first top 30 hit on the Hot 100. Due to his relationship with Future and seeing the success that came from Where You're At, it was only right for Metro to start developing Future and Drake's collab album, What a Time to Be Alive, thus having the project to be released in September 2015, and it was met with immediate success, with the collab tape acquiring 334,000 first week sales and landing on the number 1 spot on the Billboard 200. Now, at this point, the best move for Metro was to be continue working with Future and Drake. Whether it was for either of their solo careers or a collaboration between the two, this seemed like the best option for them since they had chemistry, to which Future and Metro would go on to create more high high charting songs together. Oddly enough, the same can't be said when looking at Drake and Metro's relationship together. For starters, Metro would only have 2 songs with Drake as the lead artist since What a Time to Be Alive. The rest of the tracks that would bring the two together would just be songs that feature Drake, with some of those songs being Mr. Right Now, Both, No Complaints, and P-Power. What's weird about this is that around the time Metro, Drake, and Future began working on What a Time to Be Alive, Metro would state in an interview that Drake was eager to create the project. Nevertheless, Drake didn't keep that same energy when working with Metro for his solo tracks. Instead, the relationship was completely hindered when Metro lost his entire trust in Drake. Beginning in 2022, and Metro, Future, alongside with Drake, has slowly been teasing the sequel to their collab album, What a Time to Be Alive, with Drake and Future seemingly confirming the album's existence back in 2019. Heading back to 2022, and a photo of Metro in the studio would appear on his story, with Drake posting himself at a similar location shortly after. However, when it reached October of that year, the music video for Jimmy Cooks would drop, with it announcing that Drake and 21 Savage collab tape named Her Loss is set to drop on October 28th, 2022. The tape eventually got delayed to early November due to one of the producers getting COVID. Although this is pure speculation, this album dropping is what was detrimental to Metro, since to him, he believed that the next collab project Drake was going to release was What a Time to Be Alive 2. He didn't seem informed that Drake was going to drop a completely different tape with 21 Savage. Due to this, Future and Metro felt as if Drake was trying to silence them from reaching an even higher level within their careers. After all, why develop a whole album over the span of several years to only scrap it? Not only this, it was pretty much guaranteed a #1 album on Billboard. Funnily enough, Metro would still be featured on Her Loss with the track More M's. This situation escalated for Metro because not only did Drake switch up on him and Future, he also still used his production. Luckily for Metro, he had a plan to clap back at the Canadian superstar. Around the time Her Loss dropped, Metro began prepping to release his album Heroes and Villains. When the project dropped in December, fans were quick to notice that Metro had every huge artist within the scene other than Drake on his album. Shortly after the album's release, a version of one of the songs titled Trance leaked online with an unreleased Drake verse, ultimately having numerous fans wonder why Metro removed his verse off the album. Metro would soon later clarify how he made the decision to take him off the song in an interview.
He heard that one and really wanted to get on it, but like I was letting him know that it was really just done for real. Just even with like slime verse and trap verse and the outro, it just really wasn't no room. It just wasn't no room. It wasn't nothing personal. It just wasn't no room. So
even though Metro seemed to provide his honest opinion by not adding another verse to Trance, he still had the option to drop the verse as a remix. This would never come into fruition since Drake had other plans. See, while this was happening, fans were really questioning why wouldn't Metro release a Trance remix featuring Drake. At the end of the day, if he did, it would only be beneficial towards both of their careers. This is where people began to theorize that Drake intentionally leaked the track since Metro removed him off Heroes and Villains. Nonetheless, Drake has shown in the past that he is capable of leaking songs if you do him dirty. This can be seen with the situation between him and Fetty Wap, where Fetty asked Drake to hop on the remix to My Way and remove his verse since the track was originally his friend's. This caused Drake to feel disrespected and allegedly leaked the song himself by posting it on his SoundCloud. Drake or someone on his team were the only ones who could have posted the single since Drake's camp is overly protective of his music, overall making it harder for leakers to acquire his songs. Returning to Drake's beef with the Atlanta producer, Metro would then respond to Drake by beating him at his own game. This is because Metro would post the OG version of Knife Talk on Twitter in the beginning of 2023. This version of the track didn't have Drake on it, which potentially shows how he doesn't need Drake. On top of this, the song was originally intended to be on Savage Mode 2 by 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, but instead Metro gave the track to Drake so he could put it on his tape named Certified Lover Boy. If that wasn't enough, Metro would then be caught liking tweets talking about he made the right decision, leaving Drake's verse off Trance. Following this, their beef would seemingly cool down until December 2023, where Metro stated how Her Loss didn't deserve Rap Album of the Year at the Grammys in a now deleted tweet that reads, "Her Loss still keeps winning Rap Album of the Year over Heroes and Villains. Proof that award shows are just politics and not for me. I don't care about awards, honestly. The true award and reward is knowing that the music I spend so much time on brings joy to people's everyday lives." Although this was clearly petty of Metro to declare, it didn't stop Drake from responding to Metro on his Kick stream.
To the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what I thought.
He'd also post Jay-Z lyrics on his Insta story that read, "Damn little mans, I'm just trying to do me. If the record 2 mil, I'm just trying to move 3. Which was a clear sign of him responding to Metro's tweet. Although he never name dropped Metro, it was obviously towards him since he was the only one dissing Drake at the time. Fast forwarding to recent times when Metro and Future just dropped their album We Don't Trust You, in which it took the hip hop scene into a frenzy by having Kendrick Lamar diss Drake and J. Cole in his verse for the song Like That. Now knowing all the subliminal disses that Metro and Drake have been shooting at each other over the past couple of years, it isn't so far-fetched that Metro purposely got Kendrick to diss Drake, especially when Metro was seen liking a tweet of how he reacted when Kendrick sent back his verse. In addition to this, after the album's release, Metro, Rick Ross, Knopf, and Playboi Carti signed artist Ken Carson all unfollowed Drake. Keep in mind, they all have close ties to Metro as well. Alongside this, Metro would also post on Twitter before the release of his album saying, "Once you pick a side, stay there." Although this could easily just be promotion for the album since trust is the theme of the project, but it could also mean for people to choose his and Future's side or Drake's side. Whilst Metro was attacking the Diamond Record artist, Drake was in a club in Miami looking at the many messages on how he got dissed by Kendrick. So far, Drake has only responded to Metro and Kendrick with an Instagram post alongside the caption reading, "They'd rather go to war with me than admit their own worst enemy." He'd also go on to give a speech subliminally responding to the disses.
I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling. Listen, I got my fucking head up high, my back straight, I'm 10 fucking toes down in Florida or anywhere else I go, and I know that no matter what, it's not a nigga on this earth that can ever fuck with me in my life.
Keep in mind, this could just mean nothing, but due to everything happening, I don't think it's a coincidence that Drake would act like this. One last thing I'd like to mention is that Metro would clear the air between Future and Drake since many believe that they were beefing as well. However, it seems like Metro was only replying to the fan theory being an insane stretch, as well as Metro announcing that all his socials were hacked following the release of We Don't Trust You, meaning that any tweet made by Metro wasn't by him. Metro would claim that this all started by him getting random phone calls, to which fans noticed that all those phone calls came from Canada, thus causing people to believe that Drake probably made a boss call. However, this is just purely speculation. Although this could probably be true since Metro decided to double down on telling people to choose a side, but I'm gonna leave this up to you guys' interpretation. Now, it is evident that Drake and Metro have issues with one another. Sadly, we may never really know if their beef is deeper than their egos clashing amongst one another. After all, Metro hasn't willingly collabed with Drake since producing for Young Thug's album Business is Business, in which the two only dealt with the distaste for each other as a sign of respect towards Thugger since he is currently facing RICO charges. Even though we're in the midst of what could be one of the biggest rap beefs, both Drake and Metro continuously fight a battle of subliminal disses and shady tactics, which only leads to destruction. Hopefully one day, one of the top producers in the game can work with one of the top artists sometime down the line. As we could see throughout each one of these situations, not every producer stays in contact with their artists. The strong bond between the two can shatter at any moment, overall having the rapper leave their producer in the dust, which can create a huge roadblock for some producers' career. At the end of the day, producers usually get treated extremely poorly within the hip-hop space, regardless of the fact that they are met with an extremely important task. So if you're an up-and-coming producer, try to be careful with who you work with.